Hello everyone, this is Dr. Stalter. Let's go ahead and get started with today's session. It is January the 25th and it's about 10:34 a.m. We should be finished within the next 15 to 20 minutes, and I do have an in-timer session started, timer started above so you can see what our timing is. But begin, let's make sure you've turned off your phone, cell phone, and make certain that if you have a landline it's off. Shut your door, put a do not disturb sign on the door, and from now on I want you to try to arrive a few minutes early and go through the next few steps. If you come late, that's fine. Just make certain that you go through these steps. Run the audio setup wizard each time you log on. It's up in the upper left-hand side of your Blackboard session. And it is indicated by a microphone with a small gear set on it. Follow the directions by simply clicking on that. And once you've done that, then I want you to make certain that you are editing your Blackboard Collaborate profile, and you do that by going to your name under the participant list, right-clicking, and making certain that you have a current image up and current information about your job in relationship to the course. I do want you to be aware that when you come in, you will see an electronic hand up when you come in the room. I've indicated that on my name here. You can find that by going underneath my name. You can see something with the emoticon. Then there is a step away session and a lower and raise your hand. And you simply click on that and your hand will go down. Beware that I can see all the instant messaging and all of the collaborative discussions that you have with your peers if you're chatting. Let's go ahead and get focused when we come in the classroom. Just all the distractions outside of it need to go away. I want you to focus on the sphere here for a minute. Just focus on the inside of it. As you start to do that, you'll see some pinwheel spinning. Take a few deep breaths and let them in and let them out, and let's just really get focused. Close your eyes a minute and take a deep breath in and out. And as you open your eyes, look again at the center of that geometric sphere. And again. And as you do that, that circle, that cross-section circle really will turn into a ball that begins to bounce off of that page. And as you do that, just focus that realize that you're going to focus on what's going on in this course, and to have an open mind and to see it from see the information from a different perspective. Let's go ahead and move on to a quality check. I want to make sure I have things set up correctly. There should be on the left-hand side by where you are raising your hand, there is a check mark in the drop-down menu, and I want you to see that you can select a green check mark. If in fact, when you take your eyes to the top of the right-hand side of the screen, there is a small red disc that highlights recording. If you see that, please give me a green check mark. Also at the top of the page on the right-hand side, you'll see something called Page Explorer, and I want you to tell me if you can see that we are working on something called Page 6 Slide 6.jpg. I know then that it's there, not the word pending, but Page 6 Slide 6 JPG. And then give me a green check mark if you can hear me adequately. I can see that my talk button is on, and I can see that we are moving forward. Your faculty member will usually direct your next steps, which may be to add a new PowerPoint or place you into a group. And what I want you to do is practice a skill. I want you to take your name under the participant list. I want you to hold down your left click on your name and just drag your name down into group 1. And then I want you to pull yourself back out. Drag in, drag out, and when you have that skill, I want you to make certain that you give me a smiley face, and I'm looking for all smiley faces. Those of you who are visiting us in an asynchronous environment or on the archives, the next time you come, I will expect you to be able to practice that skill just as I will have you do the audio setup wizard. Wonderful. On to the topic at hand today. And what we're going to talk about is web conferencing is the first of 3 sessions. Again, my name is Dr. Ann, and today is January 25th, and we are moving into doing this in about the next 10 minutes. Okay, when you came today, I wanted you to make certain that you had 2 monitors, a headset with microphone. I sent you a live session link for the Pilot Live. You should have reviewed your Blackboard Collaborate tutorials and having read chapters 1 through 6 of the textbook, which is the E-Learning in the 21st Century by Garrison, Archer, and Anderson. And I want you to make certain, and it should say 7th edition. You should have also received access to the Google document, and I have placed the Google document link in the chat box. I have also put a Quizlet link there for you. And so if you're from the asynchronous or from the archive, if you're visiting us from the archives today, you will be needing to use those Google Docs. Let's talk about the trigger phase just briefly. It's one phase of 4 that you'll be seeing today. And what we're going to talk about today is the Community of Inquiry framework and how that framework can be used to support e-learning. I want you to recognize that trigger phase and the 3 others that will follow is the organization of something called a practical inquiry model, and I'm using that to guide this web conference today. We'll be employing Google Doc technology as a means of documenting the progress of asynchronous participant learning and employing Quizlet technology into web conferencing as a means of enhancing the learning relationships of cognitive, social, and teaching presences as essential to effective e-learning interaction. And I will also have you apply these 3 concepts to nursing education through the use of case studies. Now, my audience today is nurse educators, and 100% of you will be able to do this by the end of this session. Let's go ahead and get started. This is my icebreaker. We're going to do a rapid fire response. So the synchronous group will post answers in the chat box and then raise your hand, and your chat box, if you haven't found it yet, is in the lower left-hand side, and you should be in the room tab. And then once you've posted the answers to the questions, again, I want you to find the emoticons and or the happy face and go ahead and give me that, or I'm sorry, go ahead and raise your hand when you're finished so that I know that you've answered all the questions. And then those of you who are visiting from the asynchronous side of life or in the archives, I want you to go ahead and go to Google Docs and fill out the table that's there. So as fast as you can, answer these questions. What theory have you used to effectively guide your online teaching? Do you prefer synchronous or asynchronous teaching? And do you think e-learning is a phenomenon rising from effective online teaching, or does it just occur without instructor influence? The answers to my questions are very, very easy. I have used understanding by design as a theory to guide, or a model to guide my teaching. I think theory-led teaching in a synchronous environment allows opportunities to engage students and to influence effective learning. So when I think of e-learning, I don't think of electronic learning or an electronic education. I think of engaging students and enriching their opportunities for learning. So here's a hook and hold question, which is really important in the trigger phase. Can web conferencing stimulate e-learning among online nursing students? Many nurse educators do not think online teaching is credible, and the assignments do not reflect valid learning. My goal today is to show you how theory can be applied to teaching practice and yield effective learning outcomes. So here's the exploration phase. We'll be moving into that. It is highlighted by many lectures and many activities that allow you to understand the information that I'm going to present to you. Again, it's the Community of Inquiry model. It's a framework by Garrison, Anderson, and Archer that evaluates communication and web conferencing among online classrooms. And there are 3 essential or key concepts that describe the process of the educational transactions that take place. One is social presence, one is cognitive presence, and the last is teaching presence. And social presence, according to Garrison, is a sense of collaboration among students. But to be collaborative, students must be free to affectively project themselves authentically into a community of learning. And Garrison goes on to describe cognitive presence as the discourse that facilitates critical reflection, and it builds from a sense of learning. It is really the critical thinking aspect of the learning environment. And teaching presence, according to Garrison, is the design, the facilitation, and the direction of cognitive and social processes for the purpose of realizing personally meaningful and educational, worthwhile learning outcomes. And here is a small video, a short video. It's 2 minutes and 23 seconds long. I have added the link to the chat box for those of you who need it, and I'm going to attempt then to go ahead and put this up for all of you to see now. If not, you can pause the page and go ahead and move to the YouTube site yourself on your second screen. So now we are moving on, having seen that skill set on my behalf. The practical inquiry model really is operationally defining the community of inquiry model into 4 phases of learning. And the phases are triggering, exploration, integration, and resolution. In the triggering phase, it is the initial phase, I highlighted it initially, where real-life issues, dilemmas, or problems are identified as a challenge. It's a time where the instructor heightens the awareness of the topic. The exploratory phase is critical inquiry, characterized by brainstorming, questioning, and exchange of information. It's deliberative through a variety of mini lectures, activities, and aimed at increasing the baseline knowledge of the topic. And then we move into the third phase, which is integration, and it's the phase of critical inquiry characterized by constructing the meaning of ideas generated in the exploratory phase. And then the resolution phase is the final phase where the learner can apply newly learned knowledge to real-life scenarios. So let's go ahead and pause the video, go to the Quizlet link, and you can reinforce the new knowledge about community of inquiry and practical inquiry models. Quizzing motivates learners to know basic material in order to transfer the knowledge into real-life scenarios. In the integration phase, it's the big idea transference, and case studies are an excellent way to transfer knowledge into real-life scenarios within an online environment. It allows students the opportunity to simulate what could or could not happen. And so what I want you to do now is consider the frameworks that I've given to you to guide a case study about safe medication administration to enhance e-learning in an online environment. I want you to go to your breakout rooms and try, if you can, to give examples of how you might use that case study to move students to a higher level of applying the information to real-life scenarios. Those of you who are in this asynchronous environment, you're going to need to pause and go to your Google Docs and fill out the documents there. Moving on to the next challenge, what I want you to do is consider how you would use Google Doc and Quizlet in a synchronous Blackboard Collaborate session to guide case study solutions to enrich e-learning. And in this case study, I opted to use a mock trial to trigger the students and to help them explore using Quizlet and Google Docs. The Google Doc to do a fishbone diagram, the Quizlet to review knowledge about the legal system. Integration would then be to employ evidence-based practice reference manuals, and resolution would be to see if the learner can post solutions for medication error prevention and report near misses and actual errors. And so for those of you who are here, you'll be doing that in your breakout rooms, and for those of you who are in the asynchronous or the archive session, you'll do that in Google Docs. So the resolution phase, the last phase of the practical inquiry model, is for me to do a short summary, and the community of inquiry model can guide nurse educator practice in online settings to enrich e-learning. Phases of practical inquiry model help organize the delivery of material to guide student learning. And the evaluation activity is for you to go to your chat sections here in the synchronous environment and answer yes or no to 6 questions that will be following. In the asynchronous, participants can go to Google Doc and answer those questions and then return back. And here are the questions. And I'm hoping if you have questions for me that today you can email them to me